Good morning. How are you?
Rusty, how are you, mate?
I'm very good.
I'm good, thank you.
You don't sound busy. You sound like you're really chilling out there.
Well, it is pretty early.
Oh,
um,
I forget, of
yeah,
course, it's
yeah.
muso
No,
time.
oh, say again, buddy.
I said it's muso time. So, yes, it's before midday.
Yeah,
Um, but
it is before midday. Yep.
yeah, you've got a continuation of your 30th anniversary of your matchbook album tour about
Match.
to kick off again. Um,
Yes.
so, yeah, I just thought you might be up and be getting into it. Anyway, I want to ask you about that. Is that the show that you're bringing to Blues Fest as well?
Um, yes and no. There's two aspects to the Matchbook 32. There's the solo acoustic, um, which again I started it was actually Matchbook 30 when I did I started off with a band, a 5-piece band. We kicked off at the Enmore back in
It's
late
2019.
October, early November 2019,
Yeah.
and did a national tour of that, which went terrifically. Then had the break over Christmas and got stuck into Matchbook 30 acoustic tour, which is a regional thing. For me, it's just just two shows a week generally in theatres in Aussie country towns. I got through 3 weekends of that in March 2020, and a little bug SARS too, knocked that on the head. um, so yeah, that I've just rescheduled that, which starts from February 24th. But for Byron Bay Blues Festival, so looking forward to that, to getting back to that with the same band that I had back in 2019. A terrific band of mixed gender, some fantastic players in the band. Leanne Paris on keyboards, Zoe Haltman on bass, Mike DeShane on rhythm guitar and backing vocals, and Kerry Jacobson of X-Dragon fame on drums.
Mate, that is quite a lineup you're bringing. That's the lineup that the Horden Pavilion was, isn't it? Is that pretty much?
That's yeah. If you're talking about Horden, sort of
Oh, not the
the
Horden.
Matchbook
Sorry,
Horden
not
is
the Horden. I'm lying to you. The
Enmore.
Enmore. The Enmore. The Enmore.
Yeah, Enmore Theatre,
Yeah.
and Palais and etc. Sort of different
Yeah.
theatres around the country. Yeah, it's the same lineup. Yes.
Yeah. No, I've seen some of the stuff on YouTube, and it's blistering.
Yeah, no, I sort of I sort of still like to give it a shot. I never stop trying to learn stuff and trying to get better. So yeah, still plenty of energy and enthusiasm there with the guitar and the voice as well. I like to give it
Yeah.
my best and try. You're always trying to get better, with each gig.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course now as a an older middle-aged guitarist, you're a role model and inspiration for probably every young Aussie kid that straps on a guitar. Back in those early days with you, who were your role models? Who were you looking at in those back in the beginning?
Well, yeah, we're talking a while back. So late, I sort of grew up in Alice Springs. I was born and raised in Alice Springs, and it was a funny era, the '60s, the early '60s, and was great for soul music. And Alice Springs, ABC Radio in Alice Springs used to play a lot of Sam Cooke and Aretha Franklin and Percy Sledge. And, so I heard that stuff all the time, which is a blessing, because that certainly got me going vocally. But you had lots of strange white ass sort of stuff like Yellow Polka Dot Bikini and James Hold the Ladder Steady, music wise. And then suddenly, bang! There was acid rock with Hendrix and Cream and and
Yeah,
progressive rock. So it's people like Clapton, Jimmy Page, of course, and Jimi Hendrix, and actually notably Alvin Lee, the late Alvin Lee from 10 Years After, with the blistering
Oh,
guitar playing from I'm Going Home from the Woodstock album.
absolutely, absolutely. And as you say, you're still always willing to learn and discover new things. Are you still listening to those, if what for want of a better word, the old masters, or who are you listening to today? Who are you looking at today?
Look, I've just got a real thing for more, sort of gypsy acoustic jazz players, particularly out of Europe. These days, of course, with YouTube, that stuff was always there, but you never really got to see it. But love like the French jazzer, Borelli Legren, for example. Say jazzer, but then I found some stuff on YouTube of him doing the whole fusion thing on electric guitar in New York in the 80s, and man, there's a guy who can pick and sweep and out rock the best of the rockers. The Ingwie Malmsteen, all those guys all rolled into one. He can do the lot just standing on his head.
Yeah.
There's lots of fantastic players like that out of Europe. He said, so can't even name one right at the moment. You've got me on the spot. As soon as we hang up, I'll think of 10 of them.
Okay.
But that's the sort of stuff I'm loving, and just the Josko Steffen of Germany is another fantastic gypsy jazzer. That's me.
Do you these days, as you say, you're going into like part 2 of the Matchbook 30th anniversary, which is solo and acoustic. Do you prefer? And so many of your songs, when you transcribe them into an acoustic arrangement, they take on a whole different life. It's almost like a whole new song, even though it's an old song. How do you prefer the acoustic stripped back, or do you still like to sort of stand up front of the band and rock out?
Well, look, they're both kind of different beasts, and the whole, like say, the acoustic thing took a while to figure out how to do. Really, it was quite a challenge. It was quite really scary at first when you, just hadn't done that. So I chucked in the acoustic. I got my first electric when I was 15. It's all right. Gave the acoustic the boot, and you're out of here, pal. I'm a big electric rock guy now. So it's it was quite a challenge, but to actually be able to play the acoustic thing, and you really had to strip the song back and have a really good think about what the song was about, and it was more that point of view. Sort of, all I've got is my voice and a guitar, so let's the voice is what people are going to be hearing the most. So let's really have a good think about what the story is about, and so you had to really focus on getting that story across, and then the guitar playing was there more to support that story, and learning how to almost like imply the band without having a band there. So I think I love where I'm at with that, and I love doing that, and I love the space and the freedom. But if I can have my cake and eat it too, I also love the band and having a good solid drummer behind me really pumping out a beat. So if I can have the cake and eat it too, which I seem to be able to do at the moment, I'm really happy.
Yeah, well, I think not only can you do it, but I think you deserve it as well after the road work and the miles and the years that you've put in developing your voice and your guitar. But you used to step to the front more and more. Were you happy with that sort of arrangement back then? Was that cool?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, I was, yeah, very much so. We had a really good thing worked out going with Cold Chisel. It was just also really it seemed to slot into place really comfortably. But Don would come along, and with Don Walker, of course, the keyboard player from Cold Chisel, the main writer, would write the stuff, and he'd write mainly with Jim in mind, but every now and then him or Steve would sort of come up with a song and they'd sort of play it. I'm thinking of this, and it would just be an automatic thing. Jim would say, "I reckon that's you," and the writer would say, "Well, actually, to be honest, yeah, I was thinking of him." And so it worked out really well. The balance was good. It was mainly Jim, and I was more than happy to just, and still am in a lot of ways. When Cold Chisel get out there and tour, it's like, oh, thank God I haven't got that pressure from being at the front and having to get this voice working. So I can just play guitar. It's all good all round.
Cool. And having done that, sort of being in, a legendary, iconic band, and also fronting your very successful solo career as well. Let's not forget that, Matchbook, your first album, you scored 5 arias back in the day with that. I mean, it was a sensational sort of opening to your solo career. So, you've done equally well on both counts. Is there anything else left for you to achieve? Is there something you're going, oh, I want to do this, I want to do a symphonic version, or, is there something else left for you to achieve?
Oh, look, I'm just, it'd be nice to, I'm just still venturing into songwriting myself. My last album was self-titled, which was a band album, electric album, that was released in March 2018. Had songs like Broadway, Hold On, and If Another Day, with a big three from that. And they were, with that album, that's where I stepped up finally. Stepped up to the writing plate and sort of, wrote well over 50% of that album. And it kind of, for all the successes of Matchbook and how much I love the album, in a lot of ways, I kind of want to step out and play songs from the Ian Moss album. I'm feeling, oh, shit, this is actually really me now, kind of thing. So there's more of that to come, and I'm still writing in that style. It's a good mixture of pop, blues, but I don't mind the odd sort of nice jazz chord here and there if it when it suits. So there's still plenty of territory to be explored in that area.
Cool. Well, what more can I say? Ian Moss, it's been very kind of you to take some time out this morning, a little early for you, I know. But thank you for that. And we look forward. I mean, you can catch Ian in various regional centres, all over Australia, on the solo and acoustic Matchbook 30th anniversary tour, and also belting it out with the full band at Bluesfest over the Easter weekend.
Yes, certainly. Looking forward to getting out there with the band at Bluesfest. Can't wait.